Hello peeps and hello peppers and welcome to a very short Film Friday. I have so much chaos here because I'm preparing for a conference that is actually a really good effort to promote autistic ways of thinking and knowledge about them. But, and I like big buts and I can't deny, with some logistics, including my own stuff. I still don't know how that functions. So I decided to see the journey as the destination and retell you a film named Next Goal Wins with tarot cards. I think I've talked about Next Goal Wins when I still had a findable football hat and when I just freshly had watched the film from the film festival. I don't remember the names of the back then young guys directing the film. They invested all they had in the movie. Similar to what I have the feeling that many people are investing basically more than they can in the conference. And I just hope this will be seen by the right people. So Next Goal Wins is a documentary movie, but I think they also reconstructed it with actors some years later. And it's essentially about some young guys wanted to get to know the worst football team in the world that lost against Australia. Okay, 8 of air. 8 is my favorite number because it means change and movement and so on. And yeah, they lost against Australia when Australia had I don't know, something of the type 32 goals and American Samoa had 0. But they played with such enthusiasm. Okay, here for American Samoa, maybe we have an American Eagle here. I don't really know anything about American Samoa, but I think that is basically the point of film festivals, that you will learn about countries and regions that you usually don't hear about. And then actually someone from the audience spoke up and said they were born and raised in American Samoa. I also picked this Witch Wisdom Tarot because it has more diverse figurines. And American Samoa is my understanding to be inhabited by largely Polynesian people. One person in the football team actually belonged to a third gender. Because, at least at the point, American Samoa let people register a third gender. And actually, the movie pictures this person so hilariously because they trot around on the football field with this really gracious movement and huge smile and want to bring a totally different energy to the football team. And yeah, flowers are good keyword or key picture because since this football team cannot really win anything in the context of this narration, they hire a Dutch soccer coach. And maybe at this point you also notice that my English is not my first language. I learned most of my everyday English in Canada as an exchange student, but I'm still have an imprint of this mix of British and American English from a German high school. So American people would say these guys in American Samoa play soccer. and English people will say they play football. So, yeah. Tangents, I know. Me and going off on tangents. In American Samoa, the people pray at particular times of the day with flowers around their neck. And the soccer practice was interrupted multiple times because of prayer. And the Dutch coach didn't like that. And he was also a little bit nervous and wanted to go to the other end of the world because he was still like grieving the death of his wife, and he wanted some distance from his European life. But, and here comes the big but, he couldn't tolerate if his special interest, soccer, was interrupted by some guys and one NB praying. So actually, both parties had to find a way of the middle. And when I'm telling the story and thinking about this picture, I also remember an old friend somewhere between the genders who had Greenlandic roots and said that the Greenlandic national costumes are actually pretty unisex. I have not seen them in life, these costumes, so don't quote me on that, but it was a nice thought. And to me, it is important to see that a person of a third gender, at a point where that was not so much public discourse yet, like 8 years ago, was just existing in a totally normal way. Nobody made a fuss about it. And here, Wales, yeah. They per se don't have anything to do with gender identities or anything, but I often draw them as a form of social protest, of deep diving and so on. And I guess that all the personages in the film Next Goal Wins have to do some deep dive into what is really important to them. There's another number 8, and healing. Yes, the coach heals and the team becomes, so to say, its own star. Because they do so much, and they almost made it to the World Cup qualification, but only almost. So through that film, I got to know a genre of film that you call failure film, where the people put in tons of effort and where the director sort of focuses the narration on like the journey and the progress, and also often finding a way of the middle or resolving a conflict. But the big goal of stardom or of being in the qualifier for the World Cup is not happening. But yeah, the journey and the story are the most important thing. And it's actually, I like such films actually to teach me and other spectators that sometimes what we take home from trying is more important than actually getting to the goal. And actually this wonderful back design looks sort of like a compass. What have we here? 7 of Earth is probably the 7 of Pentacles in classical tarot. I don't think we have any fortune telling in the story. But I would say these antlers are sort of like pathways branching off. Reminds me a little bit of my conference preparation, that I kind of also have to be down to earth. Pentacles often also symbolizes richness, so I think the team is very rich because, yeah, they almost made it to the World Cup qualifier, which is more than most people do. I've never been in a World Cup qualifier, not even really on TV. Rebirth. Yes, it might be interesting to Google what happened to this team. If you want to have a follow-up, so to say, for instance, tomorrow on Soul Saturday, then please let me know. And yes, again, pink flowers, prayer, being thankful for the community and for just being there. Like community and teamwork seem to have like a totally different value in American Samoa compared to Europe. And people were really happy with them because, for that matter, some people would always remember American Samoa as the worst football team. Actually, someone mentioned San Lucia in the Caribbean that was like had almost as much of a minus compared to a stronger team. But here, isn't that a salmon? Like, okay, if you're new here, I'm a German in Iceland, so at the moment we have a lot of campaigns against salmon farming. And actually, I can connect this to Next Goal Wins and my conference preparation, because the film and the conference are actually a lot about accepting nature. Not just all the pretty flowers, but actually like really work with what Mother Nature gives you. Be it like your character, your gender identity, your everything. And the salmon swims against the stream, so I think my final thought on both the Autism and Art Conference and Next Goal Wins is sometimes you kind of have to dare to swim against the stream to create something new, create a new life for yourself and others. Amen. Bye bye.